What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another stimulus update. So yesterday, millions and millions of Americans were ecstatic about getting one step closer to seeing this $1.9 trillion stimulus package actually go through. Yes, yesterday the Senate, they did pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. However, it still has to go back to the House, pass the House, and then get signed into law by President Biden. What I can tell you is some people just want to see the $1,400 stimulus checks. Others were just excited to see the additional weeks of unemployment benefits. Some business owners that are struggling just to keep their doors open, they were relieved to see additional funding in there for them as well. Restaurant owners are smiling knowing that there's relief for them as well. Governors and mayors are thrilled that $350 billion was earmarked for them. Parents are relieved that they will be getting $3,600 or a $3,000 child tax credit later on this year, and millions of Americans are ready for this vaccine funding to help get them their vaccine a little bit quicker. That is currently what we know. What I can tell you is that the funds from this bill are going to impact millions of people. But if the government doesn't send out this money, doesn't send out the funding quickly enough, then we will not be given that relief as fast as possible. Some people are still waiting to get rental assistance through their states and local governments or their counties. We also know that some states are still struggling to get out the newly filed unemployment benefits, because some are waiting weeks and weeks, possibly even months, just to get them filed. And then we know that people are still waiting for their $1,200 and their $600 stimulus checks. Many people do not know where to go to get these checks if they missed out. What I can tell you is if you haven't filed your 2020 federal income taxes, on there you can actually claim that no, you did not get your $1,200 or $600 stimulus check, and the IRS will send you those checks as quickly as possible. Now, I just want to reiterate one thing because I know a lot of people are asking, will the IRS be delayed due to the fact that they're doing income taxes right now and they're going to be tasked with sending out a stimulus check? Yes, they will be delayed. They are still working on 2019 taxes as well. So some people have said in the comments that they have not even received their refund check from their taxes from 2019. Why should they file in 2020? Well, you have to file in 2020 because the IRS will come after you and will give you penalties. So you do not want that. But one thing I can tell you is they are a little bit behind and they are working to get caught up. Now, a lot of people have been wanting answers. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about student loan forgiveness. I want to talk about SSI and SSDI and explain what is going to happen moving forward. Because a lot of people right now are wondering, well, we didn't get the relief that we were hoping for. So now what? Can we expect that moving forward, or where do we currently stand? So here's what I want you to understand. First, we're going to talk about students and why, or possibly when, will they get the up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness that they were promised. There's people on SSI and SSDI that were promised $200 per month. That was to a campaign promise made by President Biden and the Biden administration. And half of Americans want to know if President Biden will move forward with only partisan bills, or will he work with Republicans? Now you're probably wondering, well, so is that really important? And yes, it is. It is extremely important. If President Biden only moves forward with partisan bills, what's going to happen is this country is going to be extremely divided. Now, we're already fairly divided, but this could just push us further and further apart. We will see what happens, but right now, there's a lot of questions. What we know from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she says President Biden has not given a press conference since taking office because he wants this $1.9 trillion stimulus package to pass first. That makes sense. But some say that this was by design so that he isn't drilled with questions regarding the price of the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, which would make him rethink whether passing this or bringing this down a little bit. Others say that President Biden wasn't open to a press conference because there are many unanswered questions regarding student loan forgiveness, Social Security, and also infrastructure. Well, President Biden has been very open about his Build Back Better plan that he will be, diving into as soon as this $1.9 trillion stimulus package is passed. He has not been so open about Social Security. He has actually said very little. And then as far as student loans, he's pretty much just put all the responsibility on Congress. Right now, what we know is that Congress does not really want to have everything to do with the student loan forgiveness, and they want to put all that pressure on President Biden, which they essentially did, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Now, all these things could be true. President Biden might not want to do a press conference. He might just not want to answer the questions, or for whatever reason, and the White House could just be protecting him. That could be true. But what I can tell you is that having this press conference and addressing these issues as quickly as possible is going to put a lot of people's minds at ease. Now, I know a lot of people didn't pick up on this, so I just want to kind of point out something that Democrats were able to put into this bill that passed through the Senate yesterday. A lot of people don't realize this is in there, but it is. So let me explain what Democrats added in this bill. And this was actually something that was reiterated by Elizabeth Warren as well. She was just ecstatic about this on Twitter just the other day. And so I want to point out what was passed. And doesn't do a thing right now. It does absolutely nothing. Okay? So here's what happened. Democrats added a provision within the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. But this provision, all it's doing is providing student loan forgiveness. It's going to provide a tax-free benefit. Okay? Let me explain. So all the bill does is it allows any student loan forgiveness to be tax-free. For example, let's say you have $10,000 in student loans, that $10,000 is forgiven, and let's say you just paid 20% in taxes, right? Let's say you paid 20% in taxes. That means if you got a $10,000 student loan forgiven, you have to pay 20% of that in income taxes because now that forgiveness is actually taxed as income. So you would have to pay $2,000 at the end of the year. Okay, great. Well, the problem is a lot of students do not pay $2,000 in an entire year. So why would they be forgiven $10,000 but then they have to pay $2,000 back in their income taxes? Just made no sense, right? Well, Democrats decided, let's do a tax-free provision in this bill for anybody that gets student loan forgiveness. Okay, great. Well, like I said, it does absolutely nothing right now, but it does one thing. Democrats put all the pressure back on President Biden to cancel student debt through an executive order. That's exactly what Elizabeth Warren and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wanted to do, is they don't want to pass this through the Senate. They want to put it all on President Biden to do an executive order. That's essentially what they did. So right now, this is simply just a useless provision. It does absolutely nothing until President Biden moves forward with a student loan forgiveness through executive order. Now, whether this happens soon or not, currently we do not know. President Biden says he wants Congress to act on this. He doesn't want to do it himself. So right now, we just don't know. But let's address the big question moving forward. This is a question I received multiple times just yesterday as well. I received this through email also. But here's one of the questions. Will Democrats get rid of the filibuster so they can speed through other legislation? Well, here's what we know. A lot of people have been asking this question, and I want to just give you the facts based off what we know right now. There's two senators that have been very vocal about not getting rid of the filibuster. That's Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema. Both of those were the two of the senators that were opposed to the $15 minimum wage. They were both opposed to, well, Joe Manchin mainly was opposed to the $1,400 stimulus checks going out to as many people as it previously was. And he was also one of the ones that was pretty much the main one that was opposed to the $400 per week in unemployment benefits that brought it down to $3. He was the one that held up the Senate for over 10 hours, 11 hours, something like that, yesterday alone, just trying to get it from $400 down to $300. He was able to do that, and now Senate settled on $300 for unemployment benefits from March 15th all the way to September 6th. So the chances of getting rid of a filibuster right now are very slim because both Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema have said they do not support getting rid of a filibuster because it protects the minority to have a say on legislation. Right now, the minority is Republicans. However, what we are hearing is that a lot of people are not happy with Democrats. Just in the first, 2 months, they aren't happy with where things are at. So a lot of people are saying they will not vote for a Democrat in the upcoming midterm elections. This is in 2022. So in 2 years, in less than 2 years, we could see the Senate go from a majority, which is Democrats, to now we will see the Republican majority again. And this will most likely not be a 50-50 split. Some are predicting that we will see it go from 50-50 back to 53-47. So we will see what happens there. And if it goes 53-47, that's going to be a pretty good thing for Republicans. Democrats would be very unhappy, but right now they only have a slim majority in the House as well. I think they only have like 11 seats up on Republicans. So we could see in the midterm elections, we could see both the House and the Senate flip to be a Republican House and a Republican Senate. This would be a very hard thing to deal with for President Biden, which is one of the reasons why, according to all reports, he wants to get everything done within the first couple of years. Now, everything getting done in the first couple of years during a pandemic is going to be very difficult, especially with the Senate currently 50-50, and if we need 60 votes, it's going to have to be a bipartisan bill, which is going to be extremely difficult to get passed through. So, right now, President Biden says he wants to move forward with urging bipartisan support on bills. However, he also says that the bills, this bill, the $1.9 trillion bill, it was a unique situation because of the upcoming unemployment cliff or deadline that is on March 14th, and also the vaccine funding issues. However, some experts are saying that if he is seeing that this as a unique situation, chances are when he goes and proposes his Build Back Better plan, which is going to cost probably around $3 trillion, according to multiple lawmakers, they're saying if this is the case, that they don't see Republicans jumping on board with a $3 trillion stimulus package, and yet he wants to do a bipartisan bill. They think that's going to be very difficult, so having bipartisan support, even though it's going to be key to getting legislation passed, some are saying that this is going to be almost impossible. For instance, here's one of the things that a lot of people are questioning right now. Some are saying that now would have been the time to provide an additional $200 for SSI and SSDI. It will be difficult to get an additional 10 votes from Republicans within the Senate. And if nobody is going to, or if Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema won't jump on board to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate, then this simply means that right now, the $200 per month as an additional boost to people on Social Security, that might be dead. There might not be no more talks on that. They said the time to pass this campaign promise was now. This is according to multiple experts. But one expert, just to point out who is a Republican, he says that they believe President Biden didn't push for the $200 per month boost for Social Security because he wants to make Republicans look bad for voting against this measure. And that could be true. That honestly could be true. I don't doubt it, because right now it is a political game. It's a fight. Even though I was hoping to get these political games done with, after we saw President Biden win and it got confirmed by Vice President or former Vice President Mike Pence, I was hoping this would be done. The games would be over. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Seems like there's even more games being played because the House and the Senate are so close to flipping to Republican. So we will see. But the way I look at this is that Democrats right now push through a lot of different legislation. Now, some of this is really going to help out the American people. Some of this we might not see any funding for certain things for a while. And I just question, personally myself, just questioning why would Democrats leave out a large group that is currently struggling, people on Social Security on a fixed income? Why would they leave out this group? It just didn't make any sense. So my hope is that President Biden addresses this issue very soon through a press conference so that he can put a lot of people's minds at ease. Because a lot of people are currently counting on this monthly boost to their income, especially through this pandemic when we see gas prices are increasing, food prices are increasing, medication obviously increasing as well. We also know the U.S. is not out of the woods just yet. We will have to get through this pandemic together, and leaving out this large group of people from receiving relief that they absolutely need is going to be very difficult. These people need help. Right now, if you are on Social Security, let me know down in the comment section below. how much money do you need? How much money or how much of a boost would you need to live comfortably? Not that you're, taking vacations every day or every month, but something where you just, okay, I can buy food, I can buy my medications, I can live my life like I used to pre-pandemic. What would you need? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm just curious. Now, this is also why Bernie Sanders and a fairly large group of progressives are pushing for another bill that would include a $15 minimum wage. This would not be enacted, immediately, but it would help. They also want to include monthly stimulus checks, and I'm sure there's going to be other legislation added in there as well. The United States, we did report, 56,606 new COVID cases yesterday alone. That also included 1,459 deaths. So experts say that even though the numbers are declining, we're getting better, we're getting to our goal, we're still far away from the best numbers that we could see. Some experts say that we need to get the numbers, our daily COVID count, down under 10,000 cases per day across the entire United States in order to really have this under control. Some say we will be there most likely in June, but as of right now, they just say get your vaccine, social distance, wash your hands, wear a mask. If you can do those 4 things, then hopefully we will get there as quickly as possible. So right now, that's what we know. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.